Hey everybody, Lee from PcjunkieMods. Some exciting news. We've moved to Lodi, California. I'm currently in this new shop here. It's taken a couple months to get everything situated. Finally back up and running. Got my workbench set up here temporarily, waiting to do some construction, add an office or two. Waiting for an electrician to come out, add more power, things like that. So I thought, what better thing to do than do a video? EK and MSI were kind enough to send me their new board, the Z590 Carbon X EK motherboard here. So I haven't even opened it and looked at it, so we're gonna go ahead and dive right in and check it out and then possibly build it in this case. All right, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. I can talk about some of the key features to the motherboard. It's got a nice big box. Of course, they went with the carbon look that they had before. It's the most affordable liquid cooled motherboard on the market. No compatibility headaches for first time liquid cooling users. Let's see what we got here. I literally haven't opened this yet, so here we are. So some of the things that are included here, because everybody's a little worried about doing water cooling, I'm sure, first time users. EK has provided the leak tester, which is actually with the motherboard here, as you can see. This is like a life-saving tool. So if you decide to do water cooling and you buy this motherboard and you get this with it, have no fear, because you literally just hook this up to your system after you're done running all your tubing and let it, pressurize for, I usually do about a half hour. Half hour is probably pretty good. You could do longer if you like, but if it lasts a half hour, then you'd be pretty much set. I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, since I started using the EK loop accessory here, this leak tester. So I'm literally putting this on the system every time now that I do a loop, and I let it sit for about anywhere, if I'm in a hurry, 15 minutes, but usually about 30 minutes. And ever since I've started using that, I haven't had any problems because I'm able to find my leaks and so on and so forth. Some of the cool features for this motherboard, besides the fact that it's water cooled, obviously this is the one that does not come with the CPU. So I think there might be one on the market with CPU, or maybe you get a bundle, I'm not sure. I remember seeing in the past that there were some motherboards that came pre-bundled with a CPU. But I have a CPU here on the table. So, and then let's see, it's got all this stuff in here. So like I was saying, some of the key features here for this is it comes with the LAN manager. You got Audio Boost 5, other gaming oriented features, excellent overclocking potential thanks to the monoblock cooling solution. Yeah, because anytime you do water cooling, you're gonna get way better temps, so that means you'll be able to achieve higher clocks. Of course, has the Mystic Light and all the cool features from MSI that we love so much. Mystic Light is pretty cool because one of the things for MSI is they integrated one of their ports on the motherboard. I don't know how well you can see this port here, but this is actually to hook up your Corsair stuff. So you could actually hook up like your LL fans or the Light Node Pro or whatever directly to the motherboard and integrate it into the Mystic Light. So that is a pretty cool feature, because I know Corsair is very big RGB aesthetics. Everybody's, pretty much buying their stuff. I see a lot of builds I do from clients and stuff end up having that in there. So also, when you buy the motherboard, you get a $65 coupon for the EK shop. The motherboard MSRP is set at about $499. I think that pretty much covers it. This is a pretty good looking board for sure. So of course it has the carbon fiber look to it, like the predecessor. So it's a pretty nice look. Kind of dig that. I've always liked the carbon fiber look. There's plenty of M.2 spaces here. Good placement for all the components. You have your USB-C on here. Your typical USB 3.0, extra power, I'm assuming, for GPU. Plenty of fan headers. dual 8-pin for the CPU, and the integrated I/O on the motherboard. I love this because if you do a bench build or something like that, so even some cases nowadays that don't even have the placement for an I/O shield. So this is kind of nice to have this feature here. And then built-in Wi-Fi, plenty of USBs on the back, USB-C, HDMI display port. Yeah, so I mean, you're pretty much, this board's got it all. It's pretty packed. So we're gonna go ahead and do some assembly here, see what else came in the box. Here's the water block, the EK water block with, also has the carbon fiber look on it here. I'll go ahead and open her up. Like I said, this is the first time actually opening this box. I'm kind of late here doing this because this was supposed to be done a little while ago, but unfortunately I've been moving, so everything's been kind of chaotic. As you can see here, I'm trying to get the plastic. Same carbon fiber as they have on here. That's pretty nice. It's also got a built-in flow meter here. So, and then of course RGB, so you'll be able to put that wherever you want to connect that. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of RGB headers on the board. I haven't even looked. There's one here at the top above the post code. There is, I want to say maybe another one here. JRGB. Oh no, this one's not JRGB. That's front panel, I think. JRGB here, this is standard RGB, and then this is digital, and the one up here is also digital. So there's two digitals that I see and one standard RGB. And of course this is going to be digital, right? Yep, 3-pin. Don't ever try to connect the 3-pin to a 4-pin, because I know that sometimes you have a 3-pin RGB cable or digital RGB cable, but all 4 pins are open, and if you connect that to the actual analog RGB, what will happen is it'll destroy your RGBs, because you're talking digital is 5 volt where analog was 12, so you just sent 12 volts to a 5 volt product, and that's not going to work out too well. So the easiest way to tell is always look at, see how many wires are on that, and you'll know. So let's see what else is in the box here. Your standard stuff that come from MSI, their cool little badge, some looks like some stickers. Oh, a lot of stickers nowadays. And I'm assuming, yeah, these are like you can mark your cables, like what fan it is or what RGB cable. SATA cable, stuff like that. It's kind of actually cool, and they got the little MSI dragon there. So, and then the authenticity card, kind of nice, and I don't know, something else, and something stuck. And then they have a USB drive that's probably got the drivers on it. This is, yeah, this is the coupon code, $65 off purchase EK online store. So that actually I haven't scratched it obviously, but and then some MSI products. Another join the MSI reward program, installation manual. So some things that obviously wouldn't come with your standard motherboard. Thermal pads. Don't know what this is. Looks like it might be a toolkit. Maybe a toolkit. I'll open that in a second. And then it comes with your standard cables. You got some RGB cables. Looks like a keychain slash. Oh, yeah. Those are screwdrivers on a key, kind of on a key ring. Some more RGB cables and another RGB cable. All the screws, thermal paste, SATA cables, looks like a Wi-Fi antenna, and what is this guy? M.2, and there was, I thought there was one more of those. I thought it was stuck to something. Nope, okay. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. So then, like I said, the drivers, and of course the manual's in here. This is your standard manual for installing, you know, M.2's memory, putting it in the system, first time power up, things like that. Let's see what this is. I'll open this up. Oh, it's a little brush. Is this to clean off my keyboard and stuff? Oh, look at that. That's kind of cool. That's actually, yeah. And this is, oh, those are soft bristles. That's kind of cool. I haven't seen this. It's new to me. All right, so moving along here. So they do supply you everything you need, it seems here, because there's a screwdriver kit. And also, EK always supplies their Allen key because most of their screws are usually Allen. So there are some Phillips in here. So this little kit, if you put this on your key ring and keep this with you, you always have 2 screwdrivers. There's a flathead and a Phillips there. So, and they're marked MSI. So, oh, of course you can't see that because it's inward. And my camera is not going to adjust. Well, they're marked MSI here, so it's kind of cool, and they seem like they're pretty decent quality, so not too shabby. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move some of this stuff off the table so I can get you guys a better angle, and I'm going to install the CPU. We're going to put the monoblock on, and from there we're going to pretty much take this and put it into my 909 that's here. One of a kind. It is orange for EK. I had it powder coated. Came out pretty good. So let's go ahead and get on to that. Okay, a couple things that I'd like to also mention is that the motherboard does come with Wi-Fi 6 and the NIC is 2.5 gig. Wi-Fi 6 is pretty good. You should be able to game off that decently without any issues. As you can see, I already have the thermal pads cut here. One thing I wanted to mention, it's kind of an oversight, I guess you could say, is one thing I would have liked to have seen is the instructions, or a basic instruction to come with the motherboard and the monoblock. And the reason I say this is because not everybody has a printer. Yes, most people have a phone and they can probably look it up on their phone, but it is a lot more convenient to be able to have a nice size instruction manual to look at, even if it's a smaller booklet or something that just has the basic, because I don't even have the whole instruction manual. I just have page 7 through 9 here, and the reason I have that is because of the thermal pads being different sizes. So at some point EK decided to make all their instruction manuals for all their products online, which is perfectly fine because you're saving a lot of paper there. But for like specialty products like this, and there's a few other things that I would like to have seen instructions with. That being said, you know, and the fact that most people that buy this motherboard probably don't have extra computers laying around that they could open it up and look at it on a full-size screen. So that's the only reason I say that, and it's, you know, it's just my opinion, so whatever it's worth. So I've already put the thermal pads on here. A couple tools I did not mention that you might need is an X-Acto straight edge ruler here. I use a metal one because obviously the blade will cut through a plastic one, and then I also have scissors. The way I've done the thermal pads, and I've always done this, is I don't actually measure them. I know they have the measurements on the instruction manual, but I will take it and put it like this just to see how wide it is, make a little snip, and then see how long it is, make another snip, and then take my straight edge and then cut it off, and then make sure you peel off the hard plastic on the back and then the film on the front. We're going to alcohol the CPU here, if I can find a paper towel, and then get the block installed and then start this build. And try not to get your fingers on the thermal pads because the oils from your fingers will actually create kind of a barrier for the conductivity of dissipating heat. All right, so we have the block. Now I've got the thermal pads. That was page 7. I've done that. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take the block here and flip it over. Obviously you wanna take that off. I'll move the board here out of the way. Put this forward so you can see. There's some washers that have adhesive backing on them. So an EK sends you a couple. Looks like one extra one, which is nice because in case you mess one of them up. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the adhesive ones. Let's just take this out of the way. Move this cable. You're gonna take the adhesive washer, and if you can get the film off of it, they're gonna go here, 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 and here. So the best way to do that is just do your best at lining it up on the block and moving it to where you can see the hole. You just go ahead and give it a push down. And if you're worried about it not being lined up, you can always test fit it with the screw. Take the screw, screw it in there and see if it goes in. But more than likely what will happen is when you go to put this on the board and you put the screw in it, the screw will move the washer because you're not, I usually put the screws in, all of them, and then tighten them down. I don't know where that other one went. Oh, it's on my hand. So that way I know I got everything lined up before I tighten down any of the screws. And so far, installation of this is pretty straightforward. If you've done a water block before, they're pretty much all the same. The big difference is like the GPU blocks and CPU blocks, they're all pretty much the same style of backplate, screws, washers under screws on this particular platform, and then you put the block, your thermal paste and your block on, and then you put your springs and so that kind of stuff on. The difference here is that this one has these washers. It doesn't have the springs. You'll just tighten it down until it's tight. Try to get this sticker off here. Just make sure they're on there decently, fairly straight. Then you can peel this guy off. Just to be on the safe side, you can also take your alcohol and give this a wipe down. Make sure there's no dust particles left after you wiped it off. All right, so then the next thing you want to do is get your thermal paste onto your CPU. And my method for putting thermal paste on the CPU is pretty much still the same. I put a nice little P in the center, and then I kind of make an X from that. I just drag it out a little, make sure there's some. And this might be overboard, I don't know. It's worked for me for some time, and it gives me pretty good coverage. And I just make sure there's a little bit everywhere. It's kind of like the X pattern, star pattern, whatever. Okay, so then you're gonna take your block, you're gonna flip it over. Make sure your cable's out of the way. And the good thing for the adhesive washers is they're not falling off. You're gonna take this guy and bring it in here and try not to hit the thermal pads too much. And just kind of look and see where you're sitting. It looks like I'm pretty lined up. I would start with the bigger ones, and for the bigger ones you're going to use the bigger washer. And the reason I would start with the bigger ones is because they're going to hold the bulk of the weight when you flip it back over. This way you don't have to, because you're going to have to flip this over and then look at it and line up the holes the best you can. And you can take one, get it started. Once you got it lined up, that one started, and come in here and put the next one. Got that one started, this one, And the last one for that. Okay, so now I got all those started and it feels like everything's in place. Now you're gonna come back, you're gonna get the other washers that are left over, the plastic little tiny ones. They're gonna go where all these holes are at that are left. This is where the original heatsink would go if you buy the non-water blocked version of this. So push that one over here. And then you're gonna take the little Phillips screws, get them into the hole. You can either start it by hand or grab your screwdriver. Mine's magnetic, so there we go. And the reason I don't tighten anything down until I get all the screws in is because sometimes you end up tightening down one or two of the screws and then something's just off a little bit to where you can't get the other screw in. So this is the main reason that I leave it like this until I get them all started, because once they're all started, then I know everything's lined up and we're good to go. So all right, there, and we got them all started now, so I can actually come in here and put the Allen key on those guys. And you don't need to wrench this down, you're just trying to get a hand tight, and then you can come back around one more time. And I do the staggered pattern, that way you kind of give even pressure all the way around. Okay, then I'll come back now with the Phillips, tighten these guys down, and those same thing. You don't need to wrench these down. Wrenching them down could damage something, so you're better off just a little at a time. This goes for all water blocks. I know a lot of people have problems when they change out the terminal block on a GPU. They end up cracking the acrylic because they're just putting way too much torque on it. I mean, the acrylic can only take too much or so much before it's gonna crack. So if it feels tight to you, it's not gonna come apart. Okay, so now we have that done. This is installed. That wasn't too terrible. Pretty easy, straightforward. Probably could have done it without the instruction manual, but being that there's different size thermal pads, it's best to actually look at the manual. Okay, so I'm going to do some pre-wiring here. I'm going to go ahead and so I'm just trying to figure out if I'm gonna, because I have a loop connect over here, I'm debating if I want to run this to the board or to the loop connect. I guess I could cross that bridge. So normally what I would do for my builds is I would take this wire and hide it away now before the board goes into the case. So I could actually just tuck it down in here, probably even fit it behind those A pins, and put the excess underneath the shield here, and you wouldn't even know it's there. And then run it back to plug it in here. So that's normally what I would do, but I may end up connecting to the loop connect. You could even run it underneath this edge here, back this way, and then back up and into here. So I just try to hide the wires as much as possible, because then it just looks a lot cleaner, less clutter. All right, so now that we got that done, let's go ahead and move on to the install into the case and get some simple prep work done for the case. All right, I did some pre-building here off camera while you guys were out to lunch. I went ahead and ran a 480 radiator back here. I did use some flex tube because in here it's a lot more complicated to try to do hardline. So I got the pump down here. You can see the pump right here in the back. And then I went ahead and already put a couple screws in this just to hold it in there. And I've been thinking about how I was going to do this build. I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew because this is more of a product review. And so what I'm going to probably do, because ideally you would set this up with two 480 radiators. I'm going to actually put a 3080 in here. I'm going to use the vertical mount and see how that works out. Whoops, wait, like this, yeah. So it'll be upside down, obviously. Kind of like that. Maybe even right here. There we go. So yeah, this is the adjustable vertical GPU holder. Shifted is what it's called, actually. There's two different ones from EK. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just run the 480 rad. I will do a leak test on it. Once I put obviously the video card in here, I'll run some tubes and do a leak test and most likely fill it. I'm not gonna do too much of the wire management right now. Just doing some final touches here. Put in the limited edition plate for the case. And then we're gonna fill this bad boy. And that'll be a wrap for this. Of course, we wanna make sure it posts. Go ahead and wipe this off. So I try to do the wire management the best I could here with the limited time to not draw this whole video out into a multi-episode. So down here needs some attention obviously, but we're gonna some other time. Another thing I wish I would have done was cable comb these cables here on the back like I did for the 24 and the 8 pin, but unfortunately I didn't have any more cable combs, so we just kind of get what we get here. I put a couple zip ties to kind of clean it up a little bit, but yeah, so we're pretty much done here and built. This case is optimized to run two 480s. For this video I've only actually hooked up one of the 480s, the other one's just static to cover the hole here. Reason being is I don't really feel like I need to run two 480s right now, and it would have took a lot more time to plumb in that. I did do flex tube all through. I think it came out pretty good for this, for the look that I was going for this setup. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and fill this sucker up. So the fill port is on the back of this case. It's here, and then also got the EK drain down here on the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop off the port cover. And I will be going with the Mystic Fog. I got a few bottles here. I think, yeah, one of them's open. So, got the Mystic Fog. My freaking camera's not zooming in there, I guess. All right, so now we're ready to fill it. But before we fill it, what we want to do, since the Carbon EKX comes with your leak tester, we're going to go ahead and leak test and see where we're at. Now the leak tester does come with a little pump. It has a cap that's on here. It's also a relief valve. Flip it around and plug it in, and it comes with a fitting here that actually helps for, it's a rotary, so you can twist it the way you want it. So like right now I'm gonna have, I might grab another fitting here. Yeah, let me grab another fitting so it's not hitting the back of the case, because the rotary is great and everything except for the fact that my fingers don't want to try to fight it. So I just grabbed a static extension. This will tell me if I have any problems. So there, I'm pretty sure there's directions on the website for the leak tester. I do it the way I've always done it, so, and I could be doing it wrong, so don't quote me on it. I usually pump this up to 0.05 or 0.5 bar, and I'll let it sit for about 15-20 minutes. And if it passes that, then actually 20 minutes to a half hour is usually what I do. But if it passes that, then usually I haven't had any problems. Okay, so and then I turn this knob here to lock it closed, and I can take the pump off. I say not many problems. I'm knocking on wood right now because I haven't had any problems since I started using the leak tester. I haven't had a leak, because the thing is when I use the leak tester, if there's gonna be a leak, it's gonna find it before I put liquid in it. So that's the awesome part about that. So we're gonna go ahead and let this sit. I'll be right back. All right, so it's been 20 minutes and still where I left it. So I just let the air out, take this off, and now we can fill her up. See what she looks like. By the way, I also put in a loop connect down here. Just kind of tossed in there. That's why the wire management is so crazy. Because I wanted to get some way to control all the lights, the fans, everything, and the loop connect's the perfect solution for that. All right, I'm gonna cross my fingers. Of course, the pump is probably on slow right now, so any air pockets ain't coming out of there right now anyway. If I'm not mistaken, I should be at the BIOS right now, A1. Shoot, it looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and turn down some of the lights here. Not too shabby. Not sure why the light on the ceiling's not on. Oh, it's kind of on. Well, what's it doing up there? I see a flickering LED. That's strange. Maybe it's not connected all the way? Oh, yeah, it wasn't connected. The connection came out. All right, so now you can see up in the top. Well, I don't know if you guys probably can't see it, but the lights are on the top as well now on the case. So that about wraps up this video. Fantastic board. It's perfect for the first time water cooler. You know, you can't go wrong. It comes with the EK leak tester. You know, as long as you use that, you shouldn't have any issues. I haven't had any issues since I've started using it. Knocking on wood again. So yeah, it's a great board. It's got all the features you want. The carbon look is awesome. I think it came out pretty good in this build. I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew, deciding to build into the 909. But you know, if you're gonna water cool, you might as well water cool. So hopefully I'll eventually do some kind of video with this totally finished, wire management a little bit better. Maybe I'll fix the sleeve cables on the back, put some combs on it and stuff. Just kind of clean it up. I want to give a shout out to MSI for making such an awesome board, and EK for supplying all the water cooling for this, the 909, and also making an awesome model block for this board. Once again, thanks for watching my video. Until next time. and having faith in me to do a video with it. Special thanks to EK and fuck, man, why can't I just fucking spit it out? What do I want to say? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time.